And I think it's going down, and I think we're headed for awful, awful trouble. If you only could read the International Forecaster, you would understand how dire this situation is. And all Washington and Wall Street are doing, along with the Europeans, is lying about everything.
All right. Thank you very much for the phone call, Christine. I would get a complimentary copy of the International Forecaster. You can call 877-772. Oops, I'm sorry. You can call 877-479-8178. Let's go to Ed in Canada. Ed, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning to you all there.
Good morning.
I'm listening to you very carefully.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And thank you very much. I hope everything going good for you there.
Yes, thank you. How about in Canada?
Well, that's what I want to tell you. Here is getting rumor that oil will go up to $140 before Christmas. And then supposed to go up to $200. Yes, that's the rumor here. And now when I'm listening to you, what you're saying, that banks are going to close, and they're going to be affected, all banks around the world, and the stock market will go down. So what would you suggest to do? We was planning, buy some oil shares here. And now when I'm listening to you, what you're saying, it kind of made me think, back off out of it.
Okay, let me just say to Bob Chapman. Bob, do you have any indication of what's going on in Canada?
Yes, Canada's doing relatively well, but nobody's going to escape this. Everybody's going to suffer financially. Whether oil's going to be $100 or $140 a barrel over the next 6 months to a year, I don't know. I do know that at current prices it's probably fully priced, but there may be things going on that we're not aware of that could take it up. But the chances of it going over $100 a barrel without conflict in the Middle East, I think, are small. My answer to the investment part of it is, yes, that's okay. But my question is, why go and involve yourself in anything else if you want a stock? If you want a stock that's going to go up, you're in a bull market now for 10 years in gold. You've got Canadian gold and silver mining companies such as Agnico Eagle, Goldcorp, Silver Standard, Mine Finders, all of them excellent companies that you can buy right there on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And you can also go to any of the banks in Canada, particularly Scotiabank, and buy coins or go to some of the dealers who we recommend in Canada. I think that's a safer way to approach it because we know that gold and silver are going higher. Maybe oil will go higher.
Then other thing is, they're talking diamonds, the diamonds will go up, and now they're planning to, what I find out, open new diamond mines.
There's enough diamonds in the world to bury it. I lived in Africa for years. I'm very well aware of the diamond situation.
Yes.
And another thing, too, is, quite frankly, and I've said this now for 50 years, there's enough oil in the world to bury it as well.
Okay, so diamonds are not the answer. I mean, what about diversification? What if you have some discretionary income and somebody wants to, say, buy I don't know what you would even call it, a diamond with some kind of investment value?
Well, the problem with that is that it is a tightly controlled market, and the difference between the bid and the offer is quite large. In 1980, the VVS-1 1-carat stone sold for $62,000. It wasn't but 10 years ago, 8 years ago, it was selling for $12,000.
Whoa, you're kidding.
So,
not a good investment.
Gold and silver are the places to be. Diamonds, there's just too many of them.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. And what do you know about gold going up? I mean, about oil going up. Do you think it's going to...
Possible, but I don't think probable. $100 at the outset, with the exception of violence in the Middle East.
Okay, let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Matt in Indiana. Matt, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please. Matt, are you there? No Matt in Indiana. Let's go to Madeline in Rhode Island. Madeline, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, Madeline.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi there. Welcome to the Power Hour.
Hi. What about the unfortunate souls like myself that, because of a loss of job due to unforeseen circumstances, use credit cards to, as an income, where are the credit card companies going to be? Because I'm like borrowing money to pay them off. And what would happen if I didn't pay them off?
Excellent question, Madeline. I'm so glad you brought that up. More people than you know are doing that very thing. Bob, what is the condition of the credit card companies right now, and what do you foresee?
Well, first of all, they're banks, and they're in deep trouble with everything. So I wouldn't worry about the debt that you have with credit cards. I'd worry more about the fact that you're able, for as long as possible, to pay your rent and your mortgage, and you're darn sure if you're out of work, you better be accumulating food, because that's going to be extremely important.
All right. Thank you very much, Madeline, for the phone call. You represent a huge proportion of the people. We'll be back after this 3-minute break with more of the Power Hour with Bob Chapman. Welcome back to the Power Hour. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking to Bob Chapman, the editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. If you're going to Google it, if you're going to put it into your search engine, put it Forecaster, forecaster with an E. Or you can call 877-479-8178 if you're not online, 877-479-8178. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Northwest Pilots situation. I know we didn't cover that today, and I do want to cover it because I think something really weird is going on here with those pilots that overshot the plane that landed almost in Canada before they realized, oops. And, of course, the first story was, well, they were asleep. Well, that's not the story. Also, I want to remind you to get your email blast. Go to the Power Hour and sign up. We've got almost 1,000 people on that list now. Go to thepowerhour.com, click on the email blast. Now, hopefully we'll get it up to the point where if there's something like the H1N1 pandemic panic alert, we can get that out to you right away. So go to your website, thepowerhour.com, and click on the email blast. And tomorrow we're also going to talk about Bernie Kerik. Bernie Kerik, who was the police chief of New York City. Something really, really stinks about that situation also. Let's go back to our callers, and we have got Susan in Ohio. Susan, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Thanks.
Hi, Susan. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chapman. The question is, what is going on right now with the Agnico gold mines in Canada? The stocks were around 72, 73. Now they've dropped. And the other question I have, Lindsey Williams was talking the other day about the Dow going much further up than 10,000, only to probably sucker people in. What's your take on that, too?
Well, in the latter, they've already suckered people in. The correction in the bull market rally should have ended at 8,500. And the reason it's gone higher is that banks are taking funds given to them by the Treasury and the Federal Reserve, and they've been buying shares because equity investors have been taking money out of the market as well as have pension and profit-sharing plans. And so it has to be the government via the banks and the insurance companies and the brokerage firms that are doing the buying. So I think we're topping out right in this area of 10,100. The first question was about Agnico Eagle. It's probably in my estimation, after being in this business for 50 years, the best gold and silver company in the world. And the only reason it came down is gold fell down from 1070 to 1055. And it's like all gold and silver shares, it's a volatile stock, and so it dropped down 4 points, which is inconsequential because we're looking at the long term, and when that stock is selling for $200 or $300 or $400 or $500 a share, then you won't even think back and worry about the fact that over a 2 or 3 week period it went down 4 points.
Okay, thank you very much, Susan, for the phone call. I just want to add that with Lindsey Williams, he's always got an inside source that's never identified and nothing else to support what he says. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just calling attention to the way he does his programming. Let's go to Bob in Texas. Bob, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, with Bob Chapman.
I love your show, and I love your guest, and I love that music you were playing.
And I love you too. Thank you so much.
I used to play a slide guitar like that. I used an acoustic, tuned it up, played slide. But anyway, I want to jump on this real quick.
Okay, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait 1 minute 10 seconds, and we'll have you jump in on that. Thank you for your kind comments. We'll be back with the Power Hour.